I'm the first one to do that. I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone. Who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it.
This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope. You might wanna be my.
Okay, all right. Oh, Jesus. Guys, sorry about that. Just a little tip of advice. If you guys have a camera, a smart camera like I do, and y'all want to use it to record videos and footages and post it online, do yourself a quick favor. Don't download any ads. Do not download any ads. I might I'm not even gonna edit that out just so people can know what I'm talking about. We are going to talk about a Netflix series today, okay? You gotta get that out of the way. And it's You. This series was a suggestion, and I thought by being a suggestion that it was gonna be like a come and go scenario, but no, this series has actually blown me away a lot. I have skimmed through a few seasons in less than 2 weeks. This series is very addicting to me. And yeah, I want to review this series. You is a Netflix thriller series based on the books by Caroline Kepnes that is composed to the Netflix series by Blake Neely. An intense young man named Joe Goldberg, who frequently becomes smitten with beautiful, smart women, soon gets put to the test. A charming yet awkward crush becomes something more sinister when love turns into an obsession for Joe. Using social media and the internet, he uses every tool at his disposal to become close to women, even going as far as removing every obstacle, including people, that stands in his way of getting into them.
For love, right?
I want you to want me.
When it comes to series like this, I've kind of been there and done that when it comes to the stalking precisions of the main character, apprehending witnesses, or even victims. I've seen series like this, movies like this, documentaries like this that is based on real activity. But this series has not just caught me off guard, but has put me into the edge of the seat of new creativity in relation to modern society messages when it comes to social media being in the play involved in this, and just the creative aspects of the main protagonist going to the obstacles of us relating to them. This is a big shout out to Jack and Mel, Jacqueline and Melissa. Shout out to you both. You have given me another banger. If people think that this is a familiar suggestion, they have also recommended me to watch Yakusoku no Neverland, which is called The Promised Neverland in English. They know my taste at this point. They know my infatuation to films, projects, and series along to this. And even though You is a damn good series that I recommend everybody to check out, this series is not perfect. This series have some complications and some gestures that needed to be improved on. And I know the last season, the season finale, is coming out in April, but by this series not being perfect, I feel like this is something that should have been addressed from the long run, in my opinion. Before I got introduced to this project, I wanted to look at trailers. I wanted to see what I was getting myself into, and I rarely look at trailers when I come across projects like this. But again, by a series like this being in relation to so many projects that has that same kind of retrospect of idealistic motives, I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. And let's just say the trailer kind of shows some things that you have to be buckled for, even a couple of spoilers, but at the same time, it still won me over of how the execution landed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Blake Neely knows projects are like this. And by me coming across projects like Peeping Tom, the Jeffrey Dahmer series, and the list goes on, you have to give fans something that is in an unpredictable scale of looking at both sides of the coin. Actually, an Oscar-worthy performance. But let's be fair here. There's a lot of actors that has done a damn good job to the point where I feel like this whole project deserves more than just a recommendation, but high praise when it comes to the higher eyes looking into this project. Because when the main character, Joel Goldberg, is introduced, he first seems like a character that is nice. He seems like a character that is into the society of reasoning with others so he can further reason with himself. In fact, a very good person in many ways. Just like with a lot of people who tries to be nice, try to be good, try to maintain their insanity, and at the same time just trying to live through everyday society. Either you're going to blend in or stand out in certain ways where you can be weird. You can be this certain person that people question all the time. And at the same time, you can be a person that people keep their eyes on to prevent certain violent activity be into the play of your own emotions. Joel Goldberg is all these things. And unlike a lot of projects that have a main protagonist being like this, we begin to understand why he's like this, including certain ways where he do things out of character and out of context. This is why the pacing of this project is very important. Because if you want to show us characters that is first bad, first corrupted, first have this certain ideal complex that people may not relate to, why are they like this? Why do they feel this way? What driven them to the point of them committing murder, being like a stalking peasant, or at the same time being a weirdo that stands out towards every other cast member onto the project? They have done the pacing of Joel Goldberg so well to the point where they wanted to not just show the reasons of why he does this, but at the same time his past. And everything links to how he was before and what he witnessed before to the actions of what make his character in this project today. When it comes to the pacing of his character, they first want us to understand the reasons of his actions when it comes to him trying to find the love of his life. The people that's going to be around him when it comes to him blending into the society. And at the same time, they show us the past of how everything links into his actions. When good things happen, it shows us the relations of how good he feels. And at the same time, how he expressed himself towards certain people that walks into his life. Like the main female protagonist that he meets. And we begin to feel like this connection between both of them. And at the same time, we begin to see both sides of their own motives as Joel begins to be comfortable. And this is when things begin to be more into a tense manner. When Joel begins to like certain girls in this show, and he begins to fall attached to them, we begin to feel like this certain wall of tolerance into his character by him thinking to himself, you know what? These characters, these people are nice. These people have this certain motive of them looking for inner peace, and I'm looking for the exact same thing. So when he goes through this phase, this is when he begins to question himself. Do I trust this person if this person do like me? Do I trust this person if this person is interested in me? And should I give my heart a chance for them to hold it in a way where I don't regret them treating me with respect? And at the same time, do they love me the same way how I love them? If not, do they love me more? And we go through this phase all the time, especially in this modern day age of society where things is just so complicated. When we feel like people feel us in a way where they can relate to us, we still get ghosted. We still get lied to. We still be betrayed. And at the same time, we feel as if we're in this idealistic bubble of just not trusting anybody because we don't want to be in that same lane of just having our emotions being shattered. This is when Joe begins to trust his instincts by stalking women. If this woman likes me, let's see how they do like me. Let's see if I'm the only one they're talking to. Let's see if I'm the only one they're visiting. Let's see if I'm the only one they express their feelings towards too. And this is when the series begins to show us this whole angle of why he's doing it. It's because all this is linked to what he's went through in the past. And it's actually scary in a way. And I'm not saying in a way of him stalking and pursuing the people that he likes, but just how fluid and how simple it is to gather so much information. When I was watching this with my wife, we was looking at certain ways of how Joe would gather information with the people he was interested into knowing, especially when it came to his first love interest into the series. When he was going through his phase of going through a bad heartbreak and he meets this girl named Beck, he wasn't just trying to find information with her when it comes to what she was doing in daily activities, but he was trying to find out who her friends were, how trustworthy was them, even when it came to him meeting them in person and just snooping in their in their houses, gathering belongings, looking through certain personal information that even Beck didn't even fucking know about. And it made my wife and I think, people are fucking stupid. And I don't mean that in a way where it was like lacking common sense, but it's just people put so much of their lives on social media, their personal life when it comes to who they're talking to currently, even when they're in a current relationship, their love interest being thrown out the window, their trust issues being thrown out the window. And we know this because we see Joe going through these things, and it makes us think to ourselves, is Joe Goldberg really a bad guy? Because he's just trying to protect himself by falling into the hands of the person that is not trustworthy. And it makes you think, maybe he's not bad. Maybe the world is just sick. And that's what makes people really watch this show a lot, because it shows the eyes of the main character trying to find happiness, trying to find peace, trying to find love, trying to find acceptance, and at the same time trying to let all the bad things go by just living happily ever after. But as he begins to meet women and pursue them, fall for them, he gets more cautious by looking at their background, looking at their history, looking at the circle that they're into. And it causes him to realize that these people are toxic. These people are not good for me, which has this lane of him gaining a bad vision of himself too, by him committing certain heinous crimes when it comes to theft, when it comes to even committing murder, and at the same time doing certain things that requires us to think to ourselves, if we was in that situation, what will we do? Will we let things go, or will we just ghost people? But there was even certain scenes on this project that does have us question our idealistic levels of insanity. How much can you let go? How much can you trust people to the point where you're going to keep going to that same flaw every single damn time? And Joe Goldberg is a prime example of a person who is too intelligent and too emotional to just let things go and just let gravitation, take its place. I'm putting so much detail into Joe's character because they put so much pacing, so much choreography, so much reason to his character to the point where you can do the most heinous things, but if you witness all the actions and all the things that this main character has witnessed, you will fucking understand. No one is gonna watch you from season 1 all the way to season 4 and still not like Joe's character. You're gonna mostly hate the characters that he come across that seems good but have very fucked up histories. And that's what I like about this show too, is that even though we know what Joe does and we know what he's capable of, when he finds out people's past, not only that we find out that these motherfuckers is bad, but even worse than him. Like Elizabeth Leo that play as Beck, his first love interest before we know about his history. She is easily one of the most hated characters on the series, but that's why I like her a lot, because her acting makes out for her charisma of the whole project. There were scenes where you like her character because she's have this ideal complex for Joe to like her. There were some scenes where we caught her on the spot because Joe caught her on the spot, and you begin to hate her. There were some times where she lied and we felt betrayed as the series continues. Her character was actually the starting ground of Joe's integrity, and you need people like this to balance out the series. Why do we don't feel no type of remorse when Joe kills people? Because you need characters like this to win Joe over so hard to the point where we know that evilness does not have a face. It has an expression. And Elizabeth done a fucking good job. It's been a long time since I've came across a project and came across a character that had these mixture emotions where I did not know how to feel about them. Do I like them? Do I hate them? Or damn it, are they just good actors? That's how I felt about Elizabeth, and that's how I felt with the main character that played as Joe. As the series continues, we do come across certain mainstream actors that be on this project, and I can't really name them all, but the ones that really stood out for me was Jenna Ortega. I was surprised that Jenna Ortega was on the series. She was young too. I forgot when season 2 started. I forgot the year where it started, but goddamn, it kind of makes me realize that you has been around for a long damn time. Even Chris D'Elia makes an appearance too. Now, I love comic relief, and when I seen Chris D'Elia, I was a little iffy because it's like, Chris D'Elia, you're acting. You're doing acting, and I could be late on this because he probably been on some projects that play serious roles. But by him being an actor on here / a comedian, it fit the whole choreography with him perfectly to the point where it didn't stand out to me. It still felt like I was watching you. And Will Bettelheim, where you been at, dog? Where you been at, man? When I seen Will again, I was just, the last time I seen Will was from Gotham. And when I seen him, I'm like, wow. Man, this just made things all better. He also did a damn good job too. Need to stop Dick Ryder. He did a damn good job. Very good performance in his behalf. And at the same time, I wanted more of him. All the characters that I've mentioned that was mainstream actors, they don't really be on the series too fucking long. It made me, it kind of broke my heart, especially when I didn't see Will Bettelheim anytime soon after season 2. But this is what makes the series strong as well, is the fact that when we are introduced to certain characters, they know what roles to put these characters into, especially when it comes to certain characters that is going to be in the eyes and be in the emotional aspect on Joel Goldberg's behalf. Like Victoria Pedretti that play as Love Gwen. Out of all the characters that you are going to come across the series, that is going to be Joel Goldberg's love interest, Victoria that play as Love Gwen, she will make you be glued to the screen. She was a very good character when it comes to the integrity by testing out Joe's potential. She was a damn good character when it comes to finding certain things out with Joe's character. Very good character when it comes to testing out their relationship with each other. Very good character when it comes to putting Joe and us on edge when it comes to their activity of them questioning each other. Because remember what I told you, that most of these characters, in fact, let's be honest, all these characters on here are not good people. All of them have secrets. All of them have fucked up shit that they cover up, and that's what makes us like Joel Goldberg's character, because we would not know nothing about this if it wasn't for him. If it wasn't for him stalking and pursuing and sneaking and snooping around people's belongings and their personal ideal methods of just covering things up and just going through their houses while they're not around, we would not know the dark side of these characters. But that's actually what makes this series realistic. And that's actually what makes me love this, other than all the other stalking series and movies that I've talked about previously. Because normally when we watch a show and a movie about a bad guy pursuing and stalking a certain character, they find out great things about them, beautiful things about them, sexually things about them. But it's fiction. It's fiction. I feel like we don't know when they're going to use a bathroom. We do not know when they're going to put their clothes on. We don't know when they're going to curse out certain people. And above all, we do not know when they're going to have downtime to say or do certain things that they have been trying to do for a very long time. They show all that shit on you. They literally show you things that people do when the curtains are closed, which means that it shows you that people here are not bad. People here are not good. These are people that are human beings that has a lot of fucked up secrets that they're trying to get away from by pretending that they're fucking good. The only person that is trying to embrace that shit and expose himself by telling people that he really do trust is Joe Goldberg. And that's what makes Love Gwen strong too. Because out of all the people that Joe Goldberg comes across with when it comes to him trying to open up his heart, when he meets her, everything is on the table when it comes to him admitting the things that he has done, and she doing the exact same thing. But this is what the series really takes a whole 180 when it comes to the intensity levels, and giving you into the whole the groundbreaking mode of the acting, the choreography, the pacing, the chemistry, and even a big ass moment on season 3 that even I was not prepared of. I can't spoil it. But if anyone watched you up until then, up until season 4, will tell you that season 3 and season 2 are literally the best seasons. They're literally the best seasons. Which people say that season 4 wasn't all that great, but after what I've witnessed on season 3, I needed some downtime. Okay? The last episode on season 3, I actually can relate to that scene. I've actually been in a situation like that. So when I seen that scene when Love, Gwen, and Joe was in the dinner table talking, and some crazy shit fucking happened with both of them, I was having PTSD, and I ended up, it was so fucked up to the point where, like, I told my wife about it, and I have to stop watching the series for a little bit, because it put me into the groundbreaking mode of just like, what the fuck, like, they're gonna do this fucking scene, like they're gonna do this shit. All I'm gonna say is this: if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the series, because I'm recommending it to you, or watch my movie, watch my film documentary of what happened with me and my ex-girlfriend. That happens, what was like several years ago or whatever. I'll put the link in the description box. If you're not from America, you may not be able to watch it. But if you are from the United States, then it shouldn't be banned on your behalf. Since I'm talking about season 4, I want to get this out of the way. People was dogging season 4 because it was too much downtime. There was some scenes that was in intensity levels that did have you on the edge of your seat, but not on the edge of entertainment. But I don't mind that. I feel like by this series ending off season 3 that strong, you need to calm that shit down. And people can agree because season 3 ended hard, and I did not mind that. I think season 4 was a good stepping stone of Joe Goldberg's chemistry, and at the same time his actions, his emotions, and the things that he has done that he committed is slowly begin to catch up with him, which questions me of how season 5 gonna end. Now, I've talked to Jack and Mel about this. I talked to my wife about this, and we think it's gonna end in a way where we hope it ends. A series like this is not gonna have a happy ending because there's no good characters on here. So for a character like Joe Goldberg have a happily ever after, people are going to be pissed about it because people are going to think that people can actually get away with this shit. If you're going to make this series be realistic when it comes to the starting point, the middle, and actually at the core of the end ground of the whole project, you need to give us closure when it comes to the cycles of going through your negative actions and suffering from the consequences, but make the consequences be acceptable to the point where everybody, including myself, may not be satisfied, but can understand. But overall, the series was great. This series was fantastic. I watched season 1, season 2, and I'm currently watching season 3 again just so I can relive that shit. It's beautiful. You is a damn good series. If people are recommending you guys to watch You, it's not because it's a good show, but it's because it's a series that a lot of shows and a lot of movies are not really that adequate to pull shit off. It's been a long time since I watched something like this and felt like things wasn't censored. This is a good series. This is a damn good series, and I highly recommend everybody to check it out. I'm gonna have to give you, the Netflix series, an A.